You have felt it before. That instant when someone looks at you like you are small, disposable, easy to dismiss. Maybe they cut you off in front of other people. Maybe they laughed at your words. Maybe they spoke to you with that sharp little edge designed to make you feel beneath them. And in that moment, something hot moved through your chest. Your jaw tightened, your pulse rose, your mind screamed for action. Say something, do something, show them they picked the wrong man. But that is exactly where most men lose, not when they are insulted, when they react. Because power is not revealed in the moment you are attacked. Power is revealed in the moment you are tested. And that is the law most men never learn. The weak man thinks respect is protected by noise. He thinks the fastest response is the strongest response. He thinks rage proves worth, but rage, uncontrolled rage, is not proof of strength. It is proof of access. It means someone reached inside your mind, pressed one button, and moved you like a puppet. The powerful do not give that access away. They do not hand strangers the keys to their nervous system. They do not collapse into reaction. They respond. And that difference changes everything. Machiavelli understood this long before the modern world drowned itself in ego and emotion. He watched men rise because they mastered perception. He watched men fall because they mistook emotion for force. He understood what most people still refuse to face. The world does not reward the loudest man. It rewards the most controlled one. So listen carefully, because this is not about revenge. This is not about becoming cruel. This is about becoming difficult to shake, difficult to read, difficult to manipulate. This is about becoming the kind of man disrespect cannot penetrate. Before you can master disrespect, you have to see it clearly. Most men misunderstand it. They think disrespect is a verdict. It is not. It is a test, a probe, a pressure point. When someone disrespects you, they are rarely making a statement about your actual worth. They are trying to discover your threshold. They are pushing against your frame to see if it cracks. They want to know whether you are grounded or fragile, whether you are a man they must respect or a man they can control. That is why disrespect appears so often around insecure people, around jealous people, around people who secretly feel small in your presence. A man secure in himself does not waste his energy cutting others down. He does not need to. He is too busy building, too busy moving, too busy carrying his own weight. But the insecure man is haunted by comparison. He sees calm and calls it weakness. He sees potential and feels threatened. He sees your presence and feels his own limitations more deeply. So he pokes, he mocks, he challenges, not because you are beneath him, because some part of him fears you are not. That is the first shift you must make. Stop taking disrespect personally. The moment you swallow it as truth, you have already stepped into the trap, because then you become emotional. You become eager to prove. You become desperate to correct the image in their head. And now you are no longer in control of the moment. They are. That is how the game works. Not through fists first, through emotional bait, through invisible pressure, through the subtle art of making you abandon your own center. And once a man abandons his center, the room can feel it. People always feel it. Every room is an invisible hierarchy. Every conversation is layered. People are watching more than they admit. They are measuring composure. They are measuring composure. They are measuring who needs approval and who does not, who is ruled by mood and who remains steady in the storm. When people cannot read you, they hesitate. When they hesitate, you gain space. When you gain space, you gain power. That is why unpredictability in the right form is so dangerous. Not chaos, not instability, controlled unreadability, the kind that makes people second-guess themselves. the kind that makes them wonder whether they misjudged you. And that is why disrespect must be answered first inside yourself, before it is answered outside. Because if your inner world collapses the second someone provokes you, then your outer image means nothing. Now look at what weakness really looks like. It does not always look timid. Sometimes weakness is loud. Sometimes weakness shouts. Sometimes weakness slams the table and calls itself dominance. A weak man gets disrespected and instantly combusts. His face hardens. His voice climbs. His body becomes stiff with the panic of wounded pride. He thinks he is defending his name, but the room sees something else entirely. They see a man who can be controlled. They see a man whose peace is cheap. They see a man whose emotions are hanging on the outside of his body, exposed to anyone bold enough to strike them. That is the tragedy. He thinks he is reclaiming power while he is actually advertising vulnerability. Every uncontrolled outburst sends the same message. I can be moved. I can be baited. I can be dragged out of my position. And once that message is seen, people remember it. They may not say it out loud, but they remember. The weak man makes another fatal mistake. He cannot wait. He must answer now. He must fix the image now. He must fire back now. He cannot tolerate the silence between the insult and the response, because that silence feels like weakness to him. But what he does not understand is that restraint is often the first proof of real strength. Time is a weapon. Pause is a weapon. Stillness is a weapon. The man who cannot wait is the man who can be rushed. And the man who can be rushed can be ruled. So he says the first thing that comes to mind. Something sloppy, something emotional, something dramatic, something that feels satisfying for 10 seconds and expensive for 10 months. This is how men destroy their own leverage, not because they were attacked, but because they needed immediate relief from the discomfort of being attacked. And that need is costly, because life will test you exactly there. Not once, repeatedly. People will interrupt you, undermine you, talk down to you, provoke you when they sense you are growing. And if your default pattern is reaction, your life will be shaped by other people's impulses instead of your own discipline. That is no way to live. That is slavery with better clothes. So now we come to the second man, the rarer man, the colder man. The man who has trained himself to separate emotion from action. He notices disrespect instantly. He is not blind. He is not passive. He is not numb. He feels the sting, but he does not surrender to it. He lets the feeling arrive without giving it command authority. That is a different level of power. He understands that emotion is information, not instruction. Anger may tell him that a line was crossed. Good, useful. But anger does not get to choose the move. Anger does not get to seize the wheel. Anger does not get to speak first. He does. And because he does, he has options. He can answer. He can ignore. He can delay. He can observe. He can let the other person reveal more. He can decide whether the moment deserves energy or whether it deserves contempt. That is what emotional discipline gives you. Options. And options are power. Most men live like they have no options because they are trapped inside their own reactions. They think they are being authentic. They think immediate expression is honesty, but immediate expression is often just undisciplined exposure. The stronger man is harder to move because he has learned a brutal truth. Not every emotion deserves an audience. So while others burn, he studies. What is this really about? Who is watching? What does this person want? Attention? Dominance? Validation? A reaction? Does this deserve correction? Or is this merely a small person begging to feel large for one moment? The moment he starts asking those questions, he leaves the emotional battlefield and enters the strategic one. And strategy is where power lives. This is why calm men unsettle people. Because calm men interrupt the script. The attacker expects resistance, noise, defensiveness, chaos. Instead, he meets composure. He meets a face that does not flinch. He meets eyes that do not plead. He meets a silence that feels heavier than shouting. And suddenly the energy shifts, because silence used correctly is not emptiness. It is pressure. When a man disrespects you and you do not rush to answer, the burden of the moment starts sliding back onto him. He expected to throw you off balance. Instead, he is now standing inside his own ugliness without the reward of your reaction. The room can feel that. He can feel that. And whether he admits it or not, it unsettles him. This is where real dominance begins. Not in proving yourself to everyone, in refusing to perform for people who wanted to reduce you. And if this kind of thinking speaks to something deeper in you, stay close to this channel, because some lessons are not meant for the easily offended. They are meant for men who are serious about sharpening their mind, their presence, and their discipline. Silence is not surrender. Silence is the refusal to let a lesser mind choose your state. It says, without a single word, that you are not available for cheap provocation. It says their opinion does not get immediate access to your nervous system. It says they will not drag you into a lower frame just because they are comfortable living there. And for many people, that is unbearable, because most people do not know what to do when they cannot control your emotions. Most people only feel powerful when they can get a reaction. Take that away, and you take away their illusion of control. That is why your silence must never come from fear. It must come from choice. There is a massive difference. Fearful silence shrinks. Powerful silence expands. Fearful silence avoids. Powerful silence observes. Fearful silence trembles under pressure. Powerful silence creates pressure. And the more you understand that distinction, the more dangerous your presence becomes. Because now you are no longer easy to read, no longer easy to provoke, no longer easy to use. And that is where the real transformation starts. There is a weapon most men are too afraid to use. It costs nothing. It requires no raised voice, no threat, no performance. Yet in the hands of a disciplined man, it can shift the entire balance of a room. That weapon is silence. When someone disrespects you and you do not immediately answer, something changes. The air tightens, the rhythm breaks. The script they prepared for begins to collapse in their hands because they expected heat. They expected resistance. They expected you to defend yourself, explain yourself, justify yourself, prove yourself. And when none of that comes, they are left standing inside their own behavior with nowhere to hide. That is what silence does. It turns the light around. Now the room is no longer studying your reaction. The room is studying their ugliness. This is what most men miss. A reckless response protects the attacker. It gives everyone a distraction. The focus shifts from the disrespect itself to your emotional reaction to it. Suddenly, the man who crossed the line is no longer the problem. You are. Your anger becomes the headline. Your loss of control becomes the story. But silence refuses to offer that escape. Silence says, I see exactly what you are doing, and I refuse to lower myself enough to dance with it. That is not weakness. That is frame control. The frame is everything. It is the invisible structure beneath every exchange. It determines who is centered and who is chasing, who is grounded and who is destabilized. The moment you are dragged into someone else's emotional rhythm, you lose the frame. You are no longer leading the moment. You are being led by it. Silence takes it back. Not dramatic silence. Not wounded silence, Not the silence of a man who has nothing to say, the silence of a man who has too much control to spend himself cheaply. That kind of silence is heavy. That kind of silence creates doubt, and doubt is powerful. Because once people cannot read you, they begin reading themselves. They replay their words. They question their move. They start wondering whether they miscalculated, whether they pushed the wrong man, whether the lack of reaction means restraint or something more dangerous. That uncertainty is pressure. You did not shout. You did not threaten. You simply refused to make their attack matter. And for people who live on attention, that is suffocating. Silence also reveals character. When you do not immediately fight back, you get information. You get to see whether the person doubles down, backtracks, jokes to save face, grows uneasy, or tries to recruit the room to protect themselves. In a few seconds of silence, weak people expose entire psychological profiles. That is leverage. A loud man only hears himself. A calm man hears everything. He notices the hesitation in a voice, the insecurity behind the insult, the need for approval hidden inside fake confidence. He notices who laughs too quickly, who looks away, who suddenly becomes uncomfortable. He sees the social map clearly, because he did not blind himself with reaction. This is why silence is not passive. It is active observation. It is what a disciplined mind uses when everyone else is busy leaking emotion. And if you are one of the few men who still value discipline over drama, subscribe to this channel and stay with this message until the end. Because the world teaches men to react. It rarely teaches them how to become untouchable. But understand this clearly. Silence is not always the final move. Sometimes silence is the first move. There are moments when a line must be addressed. There are moments when allowing disrespect to pass unanswered teaches the wrong lesson. There are moments when your restraint must be followed by action. But the action must come from clarity, not from injury. That is where weak men fail. They think retaliation means immediate emotional revenge. They strike while wounded. They speak while angry. They make decisions while their pride is still bleeding. And because of that, their response is sloppy, excessive, easy to expose, easy to dismiss. The disciplined man moves differently. He waits. He lets the emotional smoke clear. He studies the terrain. He asks the right questions. Was this ignorance or intent? Was it public or private? Was it a small offense or a meaningful test? Does this person deserve a correction, a distance, or a permanent exit from my life? That is what maturity looks like. Not endless tolerance, not fake positivity. Discernment, the ability to choose consequences with precision. There is a reason patient men are dangerous. They are not rushing for relief. They are thinking for results. Timing changes the power of every move. A correction made in the heat of humiliation often looks defensive. The same correction made later, with calm eyes and controlled language, lands with far more weight. Why? Because it proves that the issue was not your ego, it was your standard. A man defending his ego is noisy. A man defending his standard is clear. There is a difference. Sometimes the correct response is a short sentence delivered without emotion. That will not happen again. That was disrespectful. Fix it. We're done here. Nothing more. No monologue, no speech, no explaining why you deserve better. The moment you over-explain a boundary, you weaken it. Boundaries are not debates. They are lines. Other times, the strongest move is not verbal at all. It is withdrawal. You remove access. You stop giving energy, time, support, closeness, opportunity, not as a tantrum, not to play games, but because access to you is not free. This is a lesson many people only learn when it is too late. They assume your patience is endless. They assume your loyalty means permanence. They assume they can cut, disrespect, drain, and still keep full access to your presence. Then one day, the gate closes. Quietly. Completely. And now they are forced to deal with the cost of losing what they took for granted. That is a powerful form of consequence. Not destruction, not chaos, absence. The removal of value. Sometimes that is all it takes. The disciplined man understands that consequences do not need to be loud to be unforgettable. They only need to be real. This is why he does not threaten. He does not announce what he will do. He does not perform hardness. He simply acts. And because he acts rarely, when he does act, people pay attention. That is strength, not constant aggression. Selective enforcement. And the more selective you are, the more weight your actions carry. There is another level beyond silence and beyond consequence. A colder level, a level most people never reach because their ego keeps them chained to every insult, every opinion, every passing offense. That level is indifference. Not pretend indifference, not fake calm with a storm still raging inside. Real indifference. The kind that comes when someone's disrespect truly no longer reaches you. This is one of the highest forms of power a man can develop, because most people do not just want to defeat you, they want to occupy space in your mind. They want to matter to you. Even as an enemy, significance is what they are after. And indifference denies them all of it. Indifference says, you do not move me enough to enter my inner world. That is brutal. Brutal because it reveals irrelevance. A man can tolerate hatred more easily than irrelevance. Hatred still means he had impact. Hatred still means he touched something. But irrelevance, that is annihilation of importance. When you truly become indifferent to the opinions of petty people, they feel it. And it unsettles them more than your anger ever could, because anger can be manipulated. Indifference cannot. The person who wants your reaction is begging to be significant. The moment you refuse them that significance, they are left with their own emptiness. This is why you must guard your attention like a king guards his fortress. Attention is currency. Where you place it, you give life. What you feed grows. What you argue with, you elevate. What you chase controls you. Most men are exhausted because they waste their attention on small people, cheap conflicts, pointless slights, and emotional traps. They burn through their energy on battles beneath their future. Then they wonder why they feel drained, distracted, directionless. It is because they are leaking power. Every unnecessary argument is a leak. Every defensive explanation is a leak. Every attempt to make the wrong people understand you is a leak. And leaks, over time, empty even the strongest container. That is why indifference is not apathy. It is protection. It is intelligent emotional economy. It is the refusal to spend gold on gravel. Ask yourself something harsh. Will this insult matter in a year? Will this person matter in a month? Will this moment deserve any space in my mind after tonight? If the answer is no, leave it where it belongs, beneath you. Walk, build, continue. There is a savage beauty in a man who no longer stops his life for every barking voice on the roadside. He knows where he is going. He knows what deserves his blood and what does not. He knows that many provocations are not challenges. They are invitations downward, and he declines. That is why the indifferent man becomes so difficult to manipulate. Guilt does not move him easily. Urgency does not rush him easily. Insults do not hook him easily. He has become too aware of how people try to access men through their emotions. He sees the trap before he feels the pull. That is freedom. And once you taste that freedom, you start to understand how rare it is. Most people are governed from the outside. Their mood depends on someone else's tone. Their peace depends on someone else's approval. Their self-image depends on someone else's treatment. They are emotional hostages walking around in expensive clothes. Do not live that way. become harder to reach, not colder in your heart, clearer in your standards, not cruel, selective, not detached from purpose, detached from nonsense. That is the distinction that changes a man's life. And once you begin mastering that distinction, something else begins to form around you. Something quieter, something stronger, a reputation, not the reputation built by bragging, the one built by pattern, by composure, by consistency, by the way you carry pressure without spilling yourself, by the way you do not chase every fight, yet never tolerate repeated disrespect, by the way people notice that you are calm but not soft, reserved but not weak, controlled but not available for disrespect. That kind of reputation takes time, but once it forms, it starts walking into rooms before you do. And that changes everything. A reputation is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built in repetitions, in patterns, in the quiet accumulation of choices that tell the world who you are before you open your mouth. That is why truly powerful people are rarely forced to fight the same battle twice. Their reputation fights for them long before conflict begins. Their name enters the room before their body does. Their energy arrives before their words do. People already know what kind of man they are dealing with. And because they know, they adjust themselves. They speak more carefully. They test less. They hesitate longer. That is power at a higher level, not constant confrontation, preventing disrespect before it even forms. But that kind of reputation cannot be faked for long. Sooner or later, life forces every man to reveal what is underneath the image. If the image is hollow, pressure will expose it. That is why you do not build a reputation through performance. You build it through substance, first through competence. The world may pretend to admire softness, but it bows to skill. When you become undeniably good at something, people feel it. They may resent you. They may envy you. They may try to undermine you, but they cannot fully dismiss you. Competence creates gravity. It makes people orbit your value whether they like you or not. This is why a man who wants respect must sharpen himself relentlessly, not for applause, for armor. Every skill you build hardens your presence. Every difficult thing you learn makes your mind less dependent on approval. Every standard you raise inside yourself makes external disrespect feel smaller, because when you know what you are capable of, the opinions of mediocre people lose force. A weak man begs the room to recognize him. A powerful man becomes so capable that the room has no choice. That is a different kind of confidence, not inflated, earned. And earned confidence is heavy. It does not shake easily. Second, reputation is built through consistency. One calm moment means little. Anyone can look composed once, but can you stay composed under repeated pressure? Can you hold your frame when the room goes cold? When someone challenges you publicly? When life strips comfort from your hands and still demands dignity from your posture? That is where men are measured, because people remember patterns more than words. They remember whether you collapse. They remember whether you become needy, reactive, emotional, bitter. They remember whether pressure exposes panic or precision. Every interaction is making a deposit into your reputation. Every moment of discipline tells the world this man is not easily shaken. Every moment of desperation tells the world push here and he breaks. So understand the brutal truth. You are always teaching people how to treat you, not with speeches, with your patterns. Third, reputation is built through enforcement. Standards mean nothing if no one ever pays a price for violating them. This is where so many men fail. They speak about respect, but they do not enforce it. They talk about loyalty, but they tolerate betrayal. They talk about boundaries, but they make endless exceptions for anyone bold enough to pressure them emotionally. Then they wonder why people keep crossing lines. because lines without consequence are decorations, nothing more. There comes a point where you must show, calmly and clearly, that access to you is conditional, that your time is not public property, that your patience is not permission, that repeated disrespect closes doors, not through chaos, through certainty. The strongest men do not keep explaining the same boundary. They do not beg to be understood. They state it once. Then they let consequence do the talking. That is why consequence must be real. It might be distance. It might be silence. It might be the removal of trust. Whatever it is, it must teach. Because once people learn that your standards are real, the testing decreases. The risk becomes too high. Fourth, reputation is shaped by narrative. Whether you admit it or not, people are always building stories about you in silence, in private conversations, in passing impressions, in rooms you are not even standing in. If you do not shape that narrative through the way you move, others will shape it for you. This does not mean becoming fake. It means becoming intentional. Who do you stand beside? What do your actions repeatedly communicate? Do you look like a man who chases attention, or a man who chooses it carefully? Do you speak like someone seeking approval, or like someone anchored in his own judgment? Do you over-explain yourself, or do you let results speak with a colder authority? Powerful men understand something most people ignore. Perception becomes reality in social life, not always because it is fair, because it is human. People respond to what they believe you are, so move in a way that reinforces strength, discipline, and control. Let your actions become evidence. Let your restraint become part of your identity. Let people notice that you do not rush, do not beg, do not tremble under small pressure. And then let that reputation spread without your help. The strongest image is the one other people report on your behalf. Finally, there is mystery. Do not reveal everything. Do not explain every motive. Do not make your inner world easily searchable. The unknown has weight. It slows people down. It makes them careful. When people cannot fully map you, they become more cautious in your presence. They wonder what you are seeing. They wonder what you are planning. That uncertainty protects you. The man who explains everything becomes easy to manage. His motives are visible. His wounds are visible. But the man who keeps something behind the veil becomes harder to play with, harder to read, harder to provoke, not deceptive, disciplined. There is a difference. You are not hiding because you are afraid. You are withholding because not everyone deserves access. That is how a fortress is built, brick by brick, standard by standard, skill by skill, boundary by boundary, until one day you notice something has changed. People are more careful now, more respectful now, more measured now, not because you became louder, but because you became harder to move. That is the reputation you want. Now we go deeper. Because if you want real power, you must stop looking at human nature through a soft lens. Too many men walk through life assuming people are fair, generous, loyal, and rational by default. Then they are shocked when they get used or betrayed. Do not be shocked. See clearly. Most people are driven first by self-interest. Even when they smile, even when they praise, people want things: access, status, convenience, validation, leverage, safety. Once you understand that, you stop being naive. You stop listening only to words. You start studying incentives. And incentives tell the truth that language tries to hide. So when someone approaches you, ask the question. Weaker men never ask. What do they want? What are they gaining by being close? What are they hoping to extract? That question alone will save you years of pain. Because many people are not loyal to you. They are loyal to the version of you that benefits them. The moment the benefit disappears, so do they. If you do not understand that, you will keep bleeding energy into one-sided relationships and false alliances wrapped in friendly language. Then there is envy. one of the quietest poisons in human relationships. Very few people will admit envy out loud. They will hide it beneath jokes, subtle digs, faint praise, and strange energy when you win too much. But envy has patterns. It struggles to celebrate what it cannot become. It smiles with the mouth and clenches with the spirit. The more you rise, the more clearly you will see it, not because you changed, because your movement forces others to face their stagnation. Your discipline becomes their mirror. Your growth becomes their accusation. Your success becomes proof that excuses are weaker than effort. And many people would rather pull you back down than rise to meet you. That is why strong men keep their circles tight. They trust slowly. They watch actions more than declarations. They notice who grows cold when they grow strong, who goes silent when they succeed, who becomes sarcastic when they become focused. These signs matter. Ignore them, and envy will sit at your table wearing the mask of friendship. Remember this, people often reveal their true character the moment they think they have leverage over you, the moment they believe you need them more than they need you, the moment they think you are weak, desperate, or hungry for their approval. Watch carefully in those moments. Do they become respectful or arrogant? Helpful or controlling? Generous or exploitative? That is the truth of who they are. Not how they act when you are strong, how they act when they think you are exposed. And once you see that truth, do not unsee it. Because the man who understands human nature stops asking to be saved by it. He becomes sharper, more selective, more sovereign. And once you become sovereign, you stop expecting the world to be innocent. That is the next awakening. Most men are not destroyed by open enemies. They are destroyed by blind trust, by naive optimism. So remove the blindfold. Human beings are driven by interest, by advantage, by appetite, by fear, by status. This is not cynicism. This is clarity. The moment you understand that people want things, you stop floating through life like prey. You stop listening only to the words they say. You start studying the direction of their behavior. What do they want from me? What are they gaining by standing this close? Why are they helpful right now? These are not paranoid questions. They are intelligent questions. And intelligent questions protect a man from stupid pain, because the truth is brutal. Many people are loyal to access, not to you. Loyal to convenience, not to principle. They stay near while you are useful. But the moment you become harder to use, harder to rush, harder to guilt, something shifts in them. The mask slips. And now you finally see the person that was always there. That is why discipline is protection. It filters people. It reveals motives. It forces hidden agendas into the light. Then there is envy. Quiet envy. The kind that smiles when you speak and tightens when you rise. The kind that congratulates you with dead eyes. The kind that claps softly while secretly praying you fail hard enough to become ordinary again. Envy is one of the darkest forces in human relationships because it rarely announces itself honestly. It hides inside jokes, inside subtle disrespect. Your growth exposes people. Your discipline exposes people. Your calm exposes people. Because every time you become stronger, you become a mirror. And many people hate mirrors that reflect what they refused to become. So watch carefully. Watch who becomes cold when you become serious. Watch who gets uncomfortable when your life gains momentum. Watch who disappears when you stop entertaining mediocrity. Watch who only loves the version of you that was easier to control. Those are not small details, those are warnings, and powerful men learn to respect warnings. Strategically, this is why not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Not everyone deserves your plans. Not everyone deserves your trust at the speed they request it. Let people earn closeness through consistency, not through charm. Through pattern, not through promises. Charm is cheap. Performance is cheap. Words are cheap. Patterns tell the truth. Another law you must understand is this. People often reveal their real nature when they believe they have power over you. When they think you need them. When they think you are weak. When they think you are emotionally invested enough to tolerate anything. That is when character gets exposed. Some become respectful when they have leverage. Others become arrogant. Never judge people only by how they act when they have nothing to gain. Watch how they act when the scale tilts in their favor. And once you see it, believe it. Do not romanticize it. Do not negotiate with it. See clearly, then move accordingly. This is what dark awareness really is. Not becoming evil, becoming unfooled, becoming the man who sees the game beneath the conversation, the motive beneath the compliment, the hunger beneath the affection, the insecurity beneath the disrespect, the test beneath the joke, the manipulation beneath the urgency. That kind of awareness is armor, because once you see clearly, you stop reacting blindly. You stop offering innocence to those who came with appetite. You stop handing access to people who have not earned it. And there is one more truth that men ignore at their own cost. Perception shapes reality because human beings respond to signals, symbols, patterns, and impressions before they ever reach truth. That means your reputation, your composure, your restraint, and your standards are shaping how the world deals with you. So be intentional. Move like a man who respects his own name. Do not let gossip define you. Do not let cheap people narrate your identity. Do not help your enemies by over-explaining yourself to spectators. Let your actions speak. Let your standards speak. Let your silence speak. Let your results become so undeniable that lesser voices sound exactly like what they are, noise. And if you have felt this message cutting deeper than entertainment, then take that as your sign to stay with this channel. Subscribe. Not for empty motivation, but for the kind of perspective that hardens a man from the inside out. Now understand something with absolute seriousness. Everything you have heard means nothing if it remains theory. Knowledge without embodiment is decoration. Language without discipline is theater. You are not here to collect dark-sounding ideas and feel powerful for 1 hour. You are here to become harder to move. That requires death. The death of the old version of you. The version that reacted too fast. The version that cared too much about people who had done nothing to deserve that power. The version that mistook emotional intensity for strength. The version that leaked his mind, his motives, and his wounds to anyone who pressed the right button. That man must go, and he will disappear through repetition, through discipline, through restraint, through silence when silence is stronger, through distance when access is abused, through clarity when the room is trying to bait you into confusion, through self-respect so deep that disrespect no longer causes panic, only assessment. From this moment on, when the world tests you, you pause, you breathe, you observe, you refuse to hand your state away. You choose your response with precision. Sometimes that response will be silence. Sometimes it will be a short correction. Sometimes it will be consequence, but it will be chosen, not triggered. That is the difference between a man with power and a man who only fantasizes about power. The powerful are not emotionless. They are ruled by something higher than emotion. Standards, vision, self-command. They do not need to win every exchange because they are building a life too serious to be interrupted by every petty challenge. They are not trying to look dangerous. They are becoming difficult to move. That is more frightening, more rare, more real. So this is your command now. Build the mind that cannot be rushed. Build the face that does not flinch. Build the standard that does not bend under guilt. Build the reputation that walks into the room before you do. Build the inner fortress that no insult can enter without your permission. Day by day, decision by decision. This is not built in one night. It is forged under pressure. Every insult is a test. Every provocation is a mirror. Every disrespectful moment is a chance to decide whether you remain a servant of impulse or become the author of your own state. That choice is always yours. And men become powerful the moment they realize that nobody is coming to hand it to them. You either build yourself or life will build you through pain. You either master your reactions or others will master them for you. You either guard your attention or parasites will feed on it. You either become sovereign or you will spend your life being emotionally rented by people who never deserved the keys. So decide. Decide what kind of man leaves this video. Not tomorrow, now, and make it real. In the comments, write this like an oath, not a slogan. I am untouchable. Write it as a line you refuse to betray. Write it as a declaration that, from this day forward, your peace will no longer be cheap. Your reactions will no longer be public property. And your mind will no longer be a playground for lesser people. And if this message met you at the right moment, subscribe and stay close. This path is for the few who are ready to become colder in judgment, cleaner in discipline, sharper in awareness, and stronger in silence. Let others keep performing. Let others keep reacting. Let others keep exposing themselves. You build something else. A presence that does not beg. A mind that does not panic. A standard that does not negotiate. A life that does not stop for disrespect. Walk into the world like a man who has finally understood the game. Say less, observe more, react slower, choose better, and never forget what you are becoming: untouchable.